immunity from the conviction and sentencing because of testimony and evidence from his first time in the White House that were introduced during the trial. But New York Judge Juan Merchan said no, he is not immune from these state charges.
Lock him up.
Merchan allowed Trump's lawyers to argue for a dismissal of the case altogether. And while this was playing all out via paperwork, emails, and legal filings, Merchan had indefinitely paused all proceedings. Trump's sentencing had been rescheduled several times at this point.
That's the kiddie jail, by the way.
Getting near, it seemed possible that sentencing might not happen.
Right. Well, and did the prosecutors themselves acknowledge that the window was closing?
Correct.
Put Trump behind some kind of bars,
District Attorney
some kind of fences, just like that.
Putting a pause on all of it,
but more severe. So that's the kiddie jail. That's the jail for kids. So we've got kids in jail, but not Trump for some reason.
Okay, so we do indeed have a new date for the sentencing. Again, the date is January 10th. What else did Judge Merchan say?
Well, we know that Trump has the option to appear in person or virtually. He just has to let the court know by Sunday. And we also know that Merchan
lock him up with Luigi for at least 5 minutes. Oh, not considering a prison sentence?
While he wouldn't make a decision on sentencing before both sides have a chance to make their cases during the hearing, he did make it clear he's not inclined to impose a sentence of incarceration. Legal experts have long said that
after all the threats to you and your family that he made,
sentence,
get what you get.
It was unlikely that Trump would face that. In the filing, he notes that
wait, a minimum prison sentence means you face it. That's what minimum prison sentence means. Everybody else faces the minimum prison sentence.
Right. Trump was convicted of falsifying business records to conceal a $130,000 hush money payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels in order to influence the 2016 election.
Before the election, so he wasn't president, no immunity.
But they did hear from past Trump organization and administration officials.
Can't believe we're even still talking about this. Biden, you dropped the ball. Should have had this guy locked up years ago.
The facts of the payments and the invoices labeled as legal services were not in dispute. What prosecutors needed to prove was that Trump falsified the records in order to further another crime.
Which they proved.
Violating the New York election laws or tax law, for example.
And again, to the timing, the sentencing now scheduled to take place just over a week before.
He's not locking him up. What's the difference? He got the probation fees for years.
For the president-elect.
If he
violates his probation, what are they going to do? Not lock him up more?
He becomes the first convicted felon to serve as president of the United States. This was a significant trial for him. It was the only one of his criminal charges to go to trial. It made him the first sitting or former U.S. president to be tried on criminal charges. And then he was convicted of 34 felony counts.
Literally our biggest criminal ever in the history of America.
The federal
only one out of like 5 cases. And they never even charged him for what he did with the pandemic. They never even charged him for millions of people's lives.
Election in November.
And Pierre